Every lesson is a lyric in the universal song. Oh, the lessons of the journey, I'll weave them in my song.
Welcome to Lessons of the Journey, the podcast about all the life skills we should have learned in school but didn't. This is the place where we step into the messy middle of life, the part that doesn't come with a manual. And we uncover tools, stories, and strategies to help you navigate with courage, clarity, and intention. Today, we're exploring 3 essential qualities that act like a survival kit for your inner world: resilience, self-compassion, and flexibility. In times like these, when uncertainty feels like the only constant, these aren't just nice to have traits, they're lifelines. Resilience is what helps you bend without breaking when the storms of life hit. Self-compassion ensures that when you stumble, you don't become your own harshest critic, but your strongest ally. And flexibility allows you to adapt, to pivot gracefully when life refuses to follow the script you had in mind.
And here's the best part. These aren't abstract concepts that are reserved for the lucky or the gifted. They're practical. They're trainable skills that you can start building today. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away with concrete tools you can use right away, ways to recover more quickly from setbacks, speak to yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend, and expand your ability to roll with life's curveballs instead of being knocked flat by them. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's dive into the work of becoming more resilient, more compassionate, and more flexible together.
Yeah. Resilience is one of those words we often misunderstand. I have a personal beef with this word. We picture someone tough, unshakable, someone who never falters, no matter what life throws at them. But that's not resilience. That's actually a myth. True resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about bending without shattering. It's about finding a way to rise again, even when you've been knocked down. Psychologist Anne Maston describes resilience as ordinary magic. And I love that phrase because it reminds us that resilience isn't some rare superpower reserved for the strong or the lucky. It's woven into everyday life. It's a quiet strength that shows up not in grand gestures, but in small choices and habits that help us steady ourselves when the world tilts. Think back to a hard season in your own life. Maybe it was a job loss, a health scare, the end of a relationship, or maybe it was just a week where everything seemed to pile up at once. How did you get through it? If you look closely, chances are it wasn't some heroic burst of willpower. It was probably the simple acts that mattered the most. Rolling out of bed when it felt impossible. Reaching for the phone to call someone you trust. Pausing long enough to take one deep, grounding breath before taking the next step. That's resilience in action. Ordinary moments that together form the bridge that carry us through difficulty. And the hopeful truth is this: resilience isn't fixed. It's something we can build, one choice, one habit, one small act of courage at a time.
Yes, it is. So let me ask you this, Jen. Now that we've talked about it a little bit, do you still have the same beef with resilience?
Yes. Those of you who know us, Jen and Nicole, you've seen the grief episode. You know we've been through some stuff, as all of us have. And it's going to take a little longer for me, I think, only because of how built in my resistance to the word is. And here's why I have resistance. I have long said that resilience is both my greatest strength and my greatest weakness. Like if I were to interview for a job ever again, and they said, "What's your greatest strength?" I would be like, "I'm resilient." And then they say, "What's your greatest weakness?" I'd say, "I'm resilient." And here's why. It's because I think the word has been bastardized. All of the things that we ever put kids through. It's okay, kids are resilient. And I go, well, how much can any one human take before it really starts messing with us? And they just give the worst of it to kids. That's the problem. Oh, they'll fix it later in life. And all the while we're shoving these things down because we have learned that resilience is tough and you just bounce back and you do all those things. And I get that it's not that, yet that's what we continue as a society to put forth on to people. We don't allow them the time that it really takes to process any of the things, a job loss, a death, all of those things. We don't allow it because it's up, productivity, up, right back to up. We don't like your attitude. Oh, we don't like your mood. And it's not that we don't understand what the word is. We're going to talk about it today. It's just that the level of consciousness of society has not gotten there yet, and they don't allow resilience to be what it in fact is supposed to be, what we're going to talk to today. So yeah, no, I still have beef with it, and I'm going to have beef with it until society catches up to allow the space for people to process, because I think essentially that's what we need in order to remain resilient. There's my spiel.
I think you're absolutely right.
To use COVID as the most recent example.
You're right.
Like,
that's
oh, kids will get over it, right? We're not allowing the space. Years later, clearly this has had an impact on an entire small generation. That's not to say even the adults that were impacted because of all of the things. And I'm just speaking to children at this point in time. It became an identity somewhere in my life that it's like, oh, it's life. You move on. You can't do anything. You move on. I was assaulted. Oh, she's resilient. She's moving on. Like, give somebody a minute, let somebody process. And that's, I think, hopefully what we will dispel today.
Yes.
in what we're talking about.
Yes, because I don't believe resilience is meant to be ignoring.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. How do we build resilience? Let's talk about 3 tools for building resilience. First, micro recovery moments. Let's be honest, life drains our energy in little bursts all day long. Emails piling up, a tense conversation, traffic, juggling kids and work. Each moment takes a small withdrawal from our emotional and physical bank account. If we never make deposits back in, we eventually burn out. That's why recovery doesn't need to be an hour-long spa day or weekend retreat. Though those are nice, it can be as simple as pausing for 3 deep breaths before moving on to your next task. Or stepping outside for 2 minutes, feeling the sun on your skin, listening to the sound of birds, or letting your nervous system catch up with you. Even sipping water slowly and mindfully can reset your stress response. These micro recoveries might look small, but stacked together, they're powerful. They give you back little pockets of resilience throughout the day. I love that.
Yeah.
Second, we have reframing the story. Our brains are naturally wired to ask, why me, when things go wrong. But that question keeps us stuck in self-pity, regret, or blame. A more powerful question is, what now? That simple shift moves you from replaying the past to actively shaping your next step. Imagine not getting the promotion you wanted. Why me might spiral into, I'm not good enough. But what now reframes it into possibility. Maybe this is a chance to grow your skills, seek feedback, or explore new opportunities. Sometimes doors close not to punish us, but to point us toward a better fit. Reframing doesn't ignore the disappointment, it honors it, but it doesn't let you get trapped there.
Oh, I love this. Reframe your story. That points me back to one of my favorite coaching questions, which is, how true is this? How true is this thought process that you're going through right now? All right. Third, let's talk about connection check-ins. Resilience isn't a solo sport. We may picture strong people as lone wolves pushing through their own, but in reality, humans are wired for connection. Studies consistently show that our capacity to handle stress increases when we feel supported by others. That doesn't always mean pouring your heart out for hours. It can be as simple as a quick phone call, checking in with a mentor, or telling a trusted friend, I'm having a hard day. Just speaking the words out loud takes away some of their power. Even a text that says, thinking of you today, can create a thread of support. When you let someone in, you're not just borrowing their strength, you are reminding yourself that you don't have to carry everything alone. So let's pause for a practice together. Wherever you are, at home, at work, or if you're listening in your car, take a slow, steady inhale. Hold it for just a moment and then release it slowly. And do that 2 more times. Inhale, hold, release. 1 more. Inhale, hold, release. Did y'all feel that tiny shift? That's resilience being built in real time. Your nervous system just got reset. Your body just got a signal that you're safe, and your mind got a little bit clearer. Imagine sprinkling these resets throughout your day, like mini pit stops that keep you moving forward with energy instead of running on fumes.
So let's talk about self-compassion. Because if resilience is basically the engine that keeps you moving forward, then self-compassion is the oil that keeps that engine from burning out.
Oh, good analogy.
Without it, even the strongest engine eventually grinds itself down. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher in this field, breaks self-compassion into 3 key elements. The first is self-kindness, treating yourself with that same gentleness, encouragement, and patience you would offer a dear friend. This is one of those simple, not easy for me anyway.
Same.
Always have to remind myself,
Yes.
You're a friend, be nice, be nice, be nice. The second is common humanity. Remembering that imperfection is not a personal flaw. It's part of being human. So when you stumble, you're not failing alone. You're sharing in a universal experience. And the third is mindfulness, the ability to be present with your pain without exaggerating it or pretending it doesn't exist.
Yes.
That, folks, is the messy middle. Find it. Acknowledge it. So why does this matter? Well, without self-compassion, we risk becoming our own harshest critic. And there it is, punishing ourselves in ways we'd never dream of treating someone else. Research shows that people who practice self-compassion experience lower levels of anxiety and depression, greater emotional resilience, and perhaps surprisingly, higher motivation to improve. Yeah. Far from making us soft or complacent, self-compassion actually fuels our courage to keep going, to try again, and to risk failure in the pursuit of growth.
Ooh.
It's not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about staying on your own team, especially when life gets hard. So what can you do to cultivate it, Jen?
All right, let's break it down. 3 practical practices. First, the self-compassion break. This is a simple but powerful practice from Dr. Neff's research. When you catch yourself in a hard moment, maybe you made a mistake, snapped at someone, you're feeling overwhelmed, you just pause. Place a hand on your heart, if that feels comfortable, and say to yourself, this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of being human. May I be kind to myself right now. Why does this matter? Because it interrupts the automatic loop of self-criticism. Normally, our brains launch into judgment. I shouldn't have done that. I'm so stupid. I always mess up. Blah, blah, blah. A whole bunch of lies. Practicing this pause tells your nervous system that it's okay to be human. It might feel awkward at first, like you're speaking a foreign language, or it might even feel like you're lying to yourself. But over time, it becomes natural, like rewiring your brain from attack to support. Second, rewrite your inner critic. We all have that voice inside saying, you're a failure, you'll never get this right. Sometimes it sounds like a drill sergeant. Sometimes it sounds like a disappointed parent. I have that replaying in my brain. But here's the thing. It isn't truth. It's habit. The practice is to catch it in the act. When that harsh thought appears, pause and ask yourself, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, rewrite it. Imagine your best friend made the same mistake. You wouldn't say, wow, you really screwed that one up. You'd say, yeah, this is tough and you're learning and you'll get through this. Reframing your self-talk this way gradually changes how you treat yourself. Over time, it leads to less defensiveness, more confidence, and a greater openness to growth.
Need that. Check.
Reminder. How true is this? How true is this?
Yeah. So third, try self-compassion journaling. This is a powerful tool because writing slows your brain and it helps you see your thoughts clearly. So take 5 minutes to write about a recent failure or moment where you fell short, maybe missing a deadline, losing your temper, or forgetting something important. Notice the words you use, then rewrite the story through a lens of compassion. Ask yourself, if someone I loved had gone through this, what would I tell them? Perhaps you'd say, yes, that was a mistake, but it doesn't define you. Everyone slips sometimes. What matters is how you move forward. Write those words down for yourself. Over time, this journaling practice builds a library of kinder narratives you can return to whenever your inner critic gets loud.
Can I tell you, these are some of my favorite people. I've said this before. When I sit across from somebody and I'm like, all of the Jen things, and then this beautiful woman across from me says, Jen, seriously, would you say that to me if I was telling you the same thing? You're like, shit. No,
absolutely not. I would never speak to someone I love like that.
Never happen. And then for that person to reflect back to you, stop doing it to yourself. And you're like, okay. Yeah.
Called on my crap.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Here's a quick reflection to try right now. Think of a recent moment when you were hard on yourself. Maybe you forgot something, you stumbled in a conversation, or you didn't hit the mark you were aiming for. Take that moment and rewrite it in one sentence with kindness. Here's an example. I made a mistake, but mistakes mean I'm learning. Or that didn't go as planned, but it doesn't define me. By the way, it's okay to use but there because you do want to forget the stuff that happened before the but. And
Thank you for pointing that out, Coach Nicole.
The part that you want to remember comes after the but.
Yeah.
That's all. So there you go. Hold on to that sentence like a small stone in your pocket. Carry it with you this week. Let it remind you that self-compassion isn't just a practice. It's a steadying force that keeps you on your own team, even when life gets hard.
And we know that happens a lot.
Always.
Yes, I really like that, the analogy of carrying it like a small stone in your pocket. You can actually do that. It's called an anchor. Like, oh, that stone, it anchors me into this amazing one sentence of kindness that I'm trying to put into myself. I love that. That's a great option. Let's turn to flexibility. If resilience helps you bounce back and self-compassion softens the blow, then flexibility is what allows you to pivot when the ground shifts beneath you. It's the skill that turns obstacles into detours rather than dead ends. Psychologists call this psychological flexibility, and research shows it's one of the strongest predictors of overall mental health and well-being. In simple terms, it's the ability to adjust when reality doesn't match your expectations, to loosen your grip on how things, quote, should be, and work with how things actually are. You can think of it like water. Water is powerful, not because it resists change, but because it adapts. It can crash through rocks as a rushing river, or sit still and reflective as a pond. It can take the shape of whatever container it's poured into, and in that adaptability lies its strength. Here's a story to illustrate this. In some parts of Asia, bamboo forests survive storms that would flatten even the tallest oak trees. The oak is strong, rigid, and proud, but when the wind comes, it can snap. Bamboo, on the other hand, bends. During fierce storms, it sways and folds and stretches, and it rarely breaks. Once the storm passes, it springs right back up. Strength in this case is not rigidity. Strength is the ability to bend without breaking. That, my friends, is flexibility in action. It is important to point out that flexibility doesn't mean giving up your goals, values, or boundaries. It means navigating life's curveballs with grace, seeing detours as part of the journey rather than failures. Maybe you imagined your career taking one path, but an unexpected opportunity appears in a completely different direction. Or a family gathering doesn't go as planned. Ooh, been there. Flexibility allows you to respond creatively. All right, this isn't what I planned, but I can still find meaning here. I can still move forward. The more we practice flexibility in small, everyday ways, the more prepared we are to handle life's larger, unpredictable storms. Like the bamboo, bending doesn't make us weak. It keeps us standing.
I have gotten to the point where in life, I almost like when I get a curveball.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I equate this with travel. Like you're traveling, you're doing something and you get lost because this happens. We do this a lot. We were just, I don't remember where we were. Oh, we were in Vegas. We were hiking. I was with Tim and my father. And I turned to them and I said, this is going to be like Rome on the bike. We're probably going to get lost. And I'm going to say turn around a few times. But I realized that you have so many experiences when you go down that path that you weren't planning on. You can really have joy in those moments if you are flexible and aren't so rigid that you're going, we're lost. It's like, we're lost again.
Yay! Oh, I love that perspective. I love it. I've noticed that through the years, I have been able to drop expectation and not having an expectation. And the idea that I saw it a certain way, and if it doesn't go that way, then anything else is so awful. It's like, here's what's in front of us, you know? And because I don't carry a great expectation into many things, those curveballs really are kind of just the next thing. Like what you said earlier is, what's the next step? Here's new information. What is happening now? And I think both of those approaches are really clutch.
Yes. And I need to get better at it in all parts of my life, turning obstacles into opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. That's a
Everything.
great stone
Approach
to carry
it all.
with you. Yeah.
And for me, it's almost a necessity because if I turn that obstacle into an obstacle, it'll turn into anxiety. So I'm like, nope, I'm not going to go down that road. What's the opportunity here? How can we shift this? It always works out in the end anyway.
Yes.
I'm still living. So it's
there
all
you
good.
go. Good one, Nicole.
All right. And here are 3 practical tools for building flexibility. First, let's look at the what else technique. So when a plan falls apart, our first instinct is often to panic, to shut down, to start catastrophizing. Mm-hmm. The mind goes to, that was my only shot. Now everything is ruined. But flexibility grows when you replace that reaction with curiosity. So the question to ask is, what else could I try? Mm-hmm. The trick here is to actually list 3 options. They don't all have to be brilliant. In fact, sometimes the sillier the better, because humor can shake loose stuck things. Mm-hmm. So true. Yep. That thinking we get so stuck and then humor comes in and then we can relax. For example, say your workout buddy cancels. Option 1, go solo anyway. Option 2, swap the workout for a walk and podcast session. Option 3, put on music and have a 5-minute dance break in your kitchen. By giving your brain choices, you're telling yourself, I'm not out of options. I can pivot. And that sense of possibility is the heart of flexibility. Yes. I love this.
So many times and I'm saying we because we're both coaches, sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees.
Sure.
We get stuck in that loop and it's really tough in those moments to list 3 options. And then you sit in front of a Jen or a Nicole And we help walk you through that. And they go, oh, there were options. There are options. There are always options.
And it's not usually 3, it's usually 50.
Yeah, so many. And it's not somebody else telling you. It's being able to step back and go, okay.
Just the idea of saying there are other options.
Yes.
Tell yourself that. Say out loud, there are other options, because it'll tell your brain, wait, stop blocking and open up.
Yeah.
Then go sweep or do something stupid.
Yes, that's exactly it. That's the key. Move your body to a different location and get out of that space, and everything opens up. Yeah.
Love that. Now let's talk about stretch goals and safety nets. We often hear the advice, aim high. And yes, big goals do pull us forward, but aiming high without a backup plan can absolutely set us up for devastation when life happens. Flexibility means holding both. A stretch goal to inspire you and a safety net to catch you. Picture this. Your stretch goal is to run a marathon. That's exciting. It pushes your limits if you're not already a marathon runner, which I am not. But what if injury, schedule, or life gets in the way? With a safety net, say, completing a half marathon, you still achieve something meaningful. You're still in motion, you're still growing, and you don't feel like a total failure just because the original goal shifted. This isn't about lowering your standards, it's about protecting your motivation. The safety net ensures that even if plan A doesn't happen, plan B still counts as progress. So it turns setbacks into detours rather than dead ends.
Yes, I love that because it reminds me of agreement number 4, the 4 agreements. Always do your best.
There you go.
You touched on it. What if you got injured? What if your best is your best that day based on what's in front of you? When we're healthy and strong and all that, our best is going to look different than if we don't feel well, if we do have an injury. Yeah, agreement number 4.
That is totally true. Here's flexibility in action. For those of you who listen, you know I go to the gym. It's my sane place. It's my workout. Sometimes I'm dealing with injuries. I'm 54. Things happen. I'll have a foot problem. I'll have a calf problem. I'll have my hips bugging me. Something will be happening. In those moments, I have to go, okay, what's my flexibility with what I can do and what I can't do? Do I need to take a break? Do I not take a break? Right now, in this moment, right now, as we're recording this podcast, I'm in a phase of my life where I'm considering a second gym so I can get more workouts and like upping my numbers because my body is completely agreeing with me. And I'm 54, so I know I have to be flexible as life moves forward and things change. That's flexibility. Yeah. It's knowing that it's going to be different in a month and I'm going to have to make adjustments. We can do that. Yes. We can all do that.
We can.
That's life.
We need to. Yes, it is life. We never know what is happening the next day.
No.
Thank you for that real life example, Nicole. And thirdly, we have to practice small detours. Think of this as flexibility training at the lowest stakes. You don't start by flipping your life upside down. You start with little experiments. Take a different route to work. Order a dish you've never tried. Listen to a genre of music you usually skip. Or say yes to an invitation you'd normally decline. Oh my gosh, life changes when you start saying yes to things you would normally say no to. Why does this matter? Because every time you step outside the predictable, you expand your tolerance for uncertainty. You teach your brain that it is safe to try new things. I can handle the unfamiliar. That way, when bigger, unexpected detours come, a job change, a move, a sudden life transition, you're not rigid. You've already practiced adapting in small, safe ways. Think of it like exercise. If you only ever move in a straight line, your body stiffens. But if you stretch and twist and change direction, your muscles become more resilient. Small detours are like stretches for your mind. Okay, so here's your challenge of the week. Intentionally, that means on purpose, y'all, break one routine. It could be as small as brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, sitting in a different chair. I know. I started to do with mine. I was like, no, your non-dominant hand.
I'm like,
Or sitting, this would go crazy at my house, sitting in a different chair at the dinner table. What? No, that's my spot. That's not your spot. Or rearranging the order of your morning ritual. Oh, no, that's why it's a ritual. It's the same every time. It's okay. It can all happen. Notice the resistance. As I'm saying it right now, notice the resistance. Maybe it feels odd, uncomfortable, or even frustrating. Then notice what you learn. Maybe you discover a new preference. Maybe you simply prove to yourself that change doesn't have to be threatening. Maybe it gives you a new perspective from a place you never sat before. Flexibility grows from practice, and the more you invite it into the little corners of life, the stronger it shows up when you need it most.
I love this because we are habitual creatures.
Yes.
And when you were saying those things, I literally was thinking in my head, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I know I can. A year ago, because we eat at kind of the regular places. You go to your place, you get what you like. At least that's me. That's my personality. I said, I'm going to eat something different everywhere I go. It was like a month. Every place I go, I'm going to order something different. And in 2 of the places, I found brand new things that I love more than what I used to eat. Yeah. I was like, oh, so I know I can do this.
You can.
But it also freaks me out. I'm like, no, my morning routine is my morning routine because it gets my day going.
And you can still have all of the pieces.
Yes.
We're just doing them in a different order.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Daily integration. We've explored resilience, self-compassion, and flexibility. And you now have concrete tools to practice. But how do you make them stick? The key is daily integration, small intentional habits that reinforce these qualities until they become second nature. So here's a simple framework to guide you each day. Morning intentions. Before your day begins, take a minute to set an intention. For example, today I will notice when I'm hard on myself and respond with kindness. Or I will pause and reset when things feel overwhelming. Or I will stay open to unexpected changes without resistance. This primes your mind to use these tools throughout the day. A midday check-in. Around midday, pause for a brief reflection. Ask yourself, have I been resilient? Have I shown myself compassion? Have I stayed flexible? One quick micro recovery, a moment of self-kindness, or a mindful pause can recalibrate your energy for the rest of the day. Evening reflection. Before bed, take 2 minutes to journal. Write about one moment where you practiced resilience, self-compassion, or flexibility. Reflect on how it felt, what worked, and what you might do differently tomorrow. Even small wins count. Tracking them reinforces your progress and builds confidence. Weekly review. At the end of the week, review your reflections. Notice patterns, celebrate growth, and identify one area to focus on next week. Over time, this creates that feedback loop that strengthens all 3 qualities: resilience, compassion, and flexibility. By embedding these practices into your daily rhythm, you move from theory into embodied change. We love embodied change. The goal is not perfection. It's gradual, sustainable growth that equips you to handle life's challenges with grace, patience, and creativity.
I love this. I struggle to be this person regularly. I do attempt to live intentionally. And what you just stated, I'm going to start with my children because that's the only way I will do it regularly. I recognize how absolutely necessary this is in life. And my kids are young enough still that if we start this now, they will grow with it and into it as though it's what we do. And here we are playing catch up as adults that nobody taught us this. So I love this because it will help my children not be that nasty resilient that I came into this episode with and understand that it's all of these little things together. Thank you for that.
So a little tip. I love this idea. This is actually something I'm stealing from my husband and his management skills. When you're trying to incorporate a new action, you take 10 pennies, quarters, nickels, dimes, whatever you want. Quarters are a little heavy. Put them in your right pocket. And every time during the day that you do the action, if you're looking to be a little more self-compassionate, every time you're self-compassionate, you move a penny to the other pocket. And then at the end of the day, you reach in your right pocket, you go, oh, I got to be a little more compassionate to myself. What could I say to myself right now? It can be your trigger to actually do it as well, the putting in your pocket, because you're going to put your hands in your pocket and go, why are there pennies in there? Oh, yeah, because I love myself and I show up for people and I'm whatever. Or because I'm flexible. When things show up, I consider them opportunities and obstacles, whatever you have to say to yourself, because I'm working on my resilience. Whatever the thing is, I think that's a great way to track as your day goes. So
that's a great tip.
Pennies.
Use the pennies and give yourself a high five for it. That works for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why high fives work. Maybe I was in team sports for most of my life, but I'll give myself a high. Be like, I did it. That was awesome.
I love high fives. I'm always high fiving friends in classes, and why not? High fives.
Yeah. Well, let's tie everything together now. Each of these qualities is powerful on its own, but their true strength emerges when they work in harmony. Resilience without self-compassion can become white knuckling, pushing forward through life like a machine, ignoring your emotional and physical needs until exhaustion hits. Self-compassion without resilience might feel comforting in the moment, but without the courage to act, it can leave you stuck in comfort rather than growth. Flexibility without resilience can leave you drifting, constantly adapting to external forces without an internal anchor. But when you weave them together, you create a balanced, adaptive, and sustainable approach to life. Resilience gives you the strength to rise after setbacks. Self-compassion ensures you don't tear yourself down while doing so. Flexibility allows you to pivot when plans change, seeing obstacles as detours rather than dead ends. Together, they form a tripod supporting your well-being, and each leg strengthens the others. Here are actionable takeaways to implement this week. 1, practice one micro recovery moment every day. Pause. Take those 3 deep breaths. Step outside for a short walk, or give yourself a 2-minute mindful reset. These small pockets of recovery are like deposits into your resilience bank. 2, try one self-compassion tool. Rewrite your inner critic. Take a self-compassion break, or journal with kindness about a recent mistake. Treat yourself as you would a dear friend, and notice how even small acts of self-kindness shift your inner dialogue. 3, build one flexibility muscle. When life throws a curveball, ask, what else could I try? Or intentionally break a small routine to practice adapting to change. These small experiments train your mind to bend without breaking, so you can handle bigger shifts with grace. Even if you do just one of each, you'll start noticing subtle but profound shifts. How quickly you recover from setbacks, how kindly you speak to yourself in difficult moments, how easily you adapt when life doesn't go according to plan. You can think of this as planting seeds this week. Tiny, deliberate acts of resilience, compassion, and flexibility may feel small at first, but over time, they grow into a forest of strength, clarity, and ease. Your inner toolkit for life's twists and turns.
Oh, my life doesn't have any twists and turns.
Oh, you're
None
one of
at
them?
all.
Okay, yeah.
Them does not exist.
Does not
Life is
exist.
What's the definition of life? Oh, twists and turns.
Oh, I thought I got, nope. All right. Pivot. Yeah.
Wow.
Gosh, this is so necessary.
Yeah. We're going into our takeaways.
They are not abstract concepts. I think that it's great that, okay, yes, we know what resilience means. It's not that nasty thing that I just brought in at the beginning. And if we could get more and more of society to really understand these things and not only apply them to themselves, but give the grace to others, all of life would change. That is my takeaway. By learning these things to deal with just the life that you are currently living, absolutely necessary to help us move through the everyday.
Handle things better.
Yes.
Agreed.
That's why I got to start it with my kids. You think you're modeling it, but they don't really see everything that is happening. You label it, you model it, you talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here.
I think the one thing on this podcast, our goal is basically the lessons they didn't teach us in school or when we were young that we wish we had learned. I wish every child could approach the world that any obstacle is an opportunity, because the attitude of it's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity makes me feel more resilient. First of all, it helps me have self-compassion, because if it's an opportunity, not an obstacle, then I don't have a reason to beat myself up. And I'm being flexible because there's opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of covers all of them. And I just feel like that's the biggest lesson right there, is any obstacle is an opportunity if you choose for it to be.
Yeah. And Nicole said any. So you don't get to measure. We're not picking and choosing these situations here. It is any. Nicole's exactly right. There's no, well, that one doesn't count because that one's really big. No, it's what it is.
Let me clarify, because I think that's a great point, Jen, and thank you for bringing that up. Some obstacles in life are massive.
Massive.
That means you may not see the opportunity for months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay that you don't see the opportunity right away. But the fact that you could know there will be opportunities in the future.
Powerful.
That gives you hope too when you're going through. Listen to our grief episode. We have a great episode on grief. We've been through some stuff. It's not like the moment those things happened, you as a human are going to go, oh, there's opportunities here.
Yeah.
Hell no. You're going to sit in your grief for a while before you get to a point in the grief process where you can go, I have opportunities here. Different opportunities, but I have opportunities here. I'm not saying this is going to happen right away for the big things. You need to take your time to see the opportunities. Just knowing that they're going to be there at some point in the future, I think also can help you through that grief as you're processing and giving yourself the time.
Yeah, that is that is the resilience portion that we're talking about. And by the way, there's no clock on any of this. The ability to see past it, there's no time frame. And I think that that's the attitude I came into this with, based on how society makes us feel about being resilient. Like you got to get through it quickly. And I think that quickly part is the misconception of resilience. The sitting in it piece is the resilience in action.
Yes.
That's my biggest takeaway here.
Yeah. And remember, avoidance is not resilience.
No.
In fact, avoidance is the exact opposite of resilience. Resilience is having the ability to go through the painful parts. Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, we're not talking about the fun times. We're talking about when life gets difficult.
Yeah.
And resilience is, I'm going to sit in this difficulty and deal with it. If I don't deal with it and I avoid it, I'm not resilient. I'm avoiding.
Yeah.
Different things, very different things.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think this is wonderful. And yes, we talk a lot here about the small things, because as we get better at the small things, it makes the bigger things easier as well, because our brain is then transitioned into this. Like I said, if every child thought, okay, you now have an obstacle, what are the opportunities with this obstacle? If we're taught that in the small things, then we start to look at the bigger things in that way as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Really
I
is.
do. Thank you. Okay, questions. I will ask first because
she's excited about this one.
Love this question. I'm going to write down the answer.
Oh, geez, no pressure.
What is your favorite TED Talk?
Oh, and like 5 just popped into my head.
Give them to me. I want them all.
I'm a TED Talk junkie. Obviously, Brene Brown's TED Talk was huge. There was a TED Talk on AI that I recently watched that I thought was fascinating. I'm going to have to get you the names. I don't remember. There is a TED Talk. This woman, she had I want to say it was it a stroke or something like that? But she's a brain specialist. So she got to go through the experience, and she does a TED Talk
read that
talking about going through the experience from the neurological expertise that she had. That was fascinating TED Talk.
I read that book. Okay, we're going to find the link to the name of the book and the TED Talk, and we will put it down. It was fascinating.
Yes, it was really interesting. And there was another woman who just recently did a TED Talk. We'll get the links for all of these. She did a TED Talk on how they're dealing with superviruses. And it was from a direction you would never think. It was so interesting. One of the things she does at the end of the TED Talk is she shows a picture of her team. And she says, see all these 20-somethings? They're the reason all this exists. So when people say, oh, the kids nowadays, no, the world's not going to hell in a handbasket. These kids are friggin' smart and they're asking the right questions. That was a fascinating one too. And I can't remember. I just remember I was like, oh, you know. I love me a good TED Talk. Man. I can watch TED Talk all day long. There are so many.
Give me the links, Nicole. I need a new TED Talk.
We'll get the links. Oh yeah, good question. There's so many good ones. Okay, my question is not nearly as deep. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna crack
Appetizer, dinner, dessert.
Shoot. I haven't thought about this. The one thing that comes to mind is, so I used to live off of like bread and butter. I can't do that anymore in my old age, but you know what the answer always was? It was Special K cereal. Like I just eat it all day long.
Really?
I don't know why. I don't know why. Because that's what I could make myself. That's what I could go to quickly. When I was growing up, I never had the patience to cook. My mom would cook in bulk, and so there were always leftovers, and she wouldn't make anything new until the leftovers were gone. So like on day 3, I'm like, I don't want it anymore, you know? And so I'd be like, what are my go-tos? It was always cereal. It was always cereal. Because like if you ask me now, I'd be like, a well-cooked steak with some caramelized onion. For the rest of my life, I could eat me some red meat and some chocolate with some carbs that my body doesn't want to process well these days. That would be it, and I would probably die a very happy woman.
That sounds good, except for the steak, because I don't eat steak. But you talk about the bread, I'm like, perimenopause, folks. There it is. You can no longer eat bread. It just doesn't work for your body.
Not work well.
I remember when my parents used to go on vacation, they'd be like, okay, we got all your food. They'd open the cupboard. There's 10 boxes of mac and cheese. I'm like, I'm set. Thanks.
Yep. That was one of
all I knew how to
cereal,
make.
mac and cheese. I could make myself a grilled cheese and heat up some, like, I used to dip it in a potato soup because I didn't like tomatoes when I was younger.
I like
now I dip it in a tomato soup. But
grilled cheese and tomato soup, comfort food. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was same when we're little. We're like, yeah, all the
little. I was a teenager. I wasn't that little. I was like 16, 17.
Good one.
All right, let's close with this. Life will never stop presenting challenges as much as Nicole wants it to, but you don't have to face them with grit and self-criticism alone. You can build resilience to bounce back, self-compassion to soften the journey, and flexibility to adapt with grace. Remember the words of Robert Jordan, the oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survived. Let's be more like the willow, strong yet willing to bend. Thank you for spending this time with us today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need encouragement. DM us your reflection or your story. We love hearing from you. And most importantly, take one tool from today and put it into practice this week. Set your intention, try a micro recovery, practice self-compassion, or take a small detour. Each action, no matter how small, reinforces your inner toolkit. Until next time, keep charting your journey, keep building resilience, practicing self-compassion, and leaning into flexibility. And above all, keep living your best life.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Write your lines with passion, let your spirit freely roam. The lessons of your journey will lead you